Phosphor Dot friends, Earl at thelogbook.com, back on the Atari 2600 with a movie tie-in game that is pretty unexpected. First off, this didn't actually come out. The prototype was discovered many years later. This would have been released by 20th Century Fox's Games of the Century. And the movie it was tying into was the 1982 horror movie, The Entity. Now, let me put this on the table. I am not going to make the mistake that so many people down through the years have made with things like comic books and tell you that video games are for kids, because they most certainly are not just for kids. There are games for kids, but there are also games for grown-ups, and you can't paint the entire medium with this broad brush that it's all for kids. No, it's not. Never was. Still, at the time, the 2600 was kind of lumped into the family entertainment category, and the movie that this game was developed to tie into was not family friendly. Let me put it that way. It's rather shocking. I have never made it all the way through that movie even once. Never. So, really interesting choice that we're going to build an Atari cartridge on the back of The Entity. Especially when, in the movie, you really want to root for the people trying to contain the entity so it doesn't harm anyone else. Here, you're trying to shepherd it to the next exit. You have 2 meters at the top of the screen. One is for power if you actually have to, like I just hit the action button there and it applied a little bit more force to the entity, which sometimes you have to do because you lose a life if it is run off the bottom of the screen and basically crushed. But you have to use your energy very judiciously. Now, like, I used a bit more of it there than I really wanted to. Okay, now the doorways start out as they move. That's right, Marissa. Okay, we're almost out of energy. This is going to get ugly really quick. We're out. Gonna lose it. Squish. Okay, we just got a fresh reserve of energy, which is going to go quickly. Oh, that took a lot out of us. We have no energy in reserve. Squish. This isn't going to get any easier. Okay, we got our energy replenished. As this game was not released, there really is no... I don't believe there's an instruction manual that really details how best to play it. So I may be playing it all wrong. It looks kind of like the squish. Trying to see if a more... Oops. Oh, that was the end of the game. I was trying to see if a more incremental approach to moving the walls around would be beneficial. Didn't really seem to help a whole lot. So here, the question is this. Okay. I'm not really going to get into the weeds of why would you base a game on a movie that the audience of the movie was not necessarily the same as the audience of the platform you're designing the game for. I'm not sure there's even a logical conclusion to that conversation. But here comes the rest of the conversation, which is, okay, if you decided that perhaps the subject matter is too strong for the intended audience of the game to be aware of the movie, why not just retitle the game? Or license it to whatever that outfit was that was doing the games based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween. Squish. El Squisherino. Trying really hard not to use my energy and failing. And now it's not even an option. So, why didn't the game come out? Probably, more than likely, it had nothing to do with the subject matter. It had nothing to do with the movie. It was probably more to do with the industry crash, the industry contraction that was going on. And something as non-obvious as a movie license for a movie that would have been considered inappropriate for most of the people who would have been playing the cartridge probably seemed like it was an easy product to mothball. It's not a terrible game. But I can kind of see why it never made it to the store shelves. Seriously, why would you base a video game on the entity? You're probably wondering why I would spend this much time playing a game based on the entity. It's because the entity, if you've seen the movie, deserves to get squished like that. And that's what I live for.